Welcome, Christiane. I'm so glad that you're going to be on Bethy Live.
I'm so glad too.
It's really been fun getting to know you, and I loved our photo shoot. I loved your outfits. Everything was just great.
I had so much fun. It was unbelievable.
So tell everyone what you do.
I'm a chemical engineer, and I founded a company called Genetica Skincare 4 years ago.
Which I've tried the products.
Yes.
And I love them.
I know. You've been using the anti-aging collection.
I love them.
Thank you. They were formulated to go together to address all signs of aging.
How did you get into that? You have an engineering degree, right?
Yes. I worked for the longest time for pharmaceutical, vitamin, supplement industry. And in 2007, I was sent to Japan on a fairly secret mission to bring back the technology to make something called ubiquinol. Ubiquinol is the twin of something most people know called coenzyme Q10, which is a vitamin supplement that we have in our own bodies, which is responsible for cellular energy. So when my team and I developed the compound made in Pasadena, Texas, still to this day, yes.
Wow.
I started noticing the guys in the packaging room getting a little bit better skin. I know, it's crazy. And then I started taking actually the powder that we were making in the plant and mixing it in my own creams and finding good results. But that was, you know, the ubiquinol is white and it tends to turn orange if it oxidizes because it's a very strong antioxidant. So I had the idea to develop a skincare line based on ubiquinol.
So tell us about your skincare line.
So it's an anti-aging skincare line, and we have now 4 collections. And we're going to have a 5th maybe pretty soon. Really the core, the products that you've been using are the Couture collection, which is an anti-aging system. There are 4 products, an eye cream, a serum, a day cream, and a night cream. So you can use them separately, but you've been using them together. And it's really food for your skin, essentially. I pack them with a lot of antioxidants, not just ubiquinol, because ubiquinol is just one. And basically, they help rejuvenate all signs of aging, wrinkles, you know, blotchiness. They take away dark circles. They give you a really good skin. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We've also, last year, started selling to professionals. So we're in spa. We do what's called the back bar line. So it's a professional line. We have a spa collection. So if you wanted to do a facial at home, you can do that as well. So you have the accessory products that are not the treatment products. We have a men's collection.
Wonderful.
And next year we're going to have a signature collection. Yes.
And we have the website online. Everybody can go to that.
Yes.
So where are you from?
I was born in Lebanon, but yes, I lived there for about 18 years and then decided I wanted to live in Montreal because between the ages of 6 and almost 9, I lived in Montreal. Because back then there was the Civil War in Lebanon.
Yeah, tell us about that. The Civil War broke out and...
1975, the Civil War broke out, and then my parents got a little scared, and we had an uncle that lived in Canada. So we decided, my parents just took us over there, but they really missed their country. And and my brother was little, and he kept getting asthma. So they basically decided to go back to Lebanon in 1978.
Okay.
And then in 1987, I was going to college, and I just didn't want to live in Lebanon anymore. I remembered the taste of Oreos.
from Canada?
Yes, which we didn't have in Lebanon. So the first thing I did when I got to Canada is go back a pack of Oreos, and I think I ate the whole thing. But anyway, I was 18.
You chose where to go to college based on Oreos.
Kind of, sort of, you know. But I mean, these things, I mean, the smells and the taste stay with you. But really, I wanted to be in North America. I remembered the freedom and the freedom of expression, the freedom of being, and I just loved it. And I went to chemical engineering school there, and I started traveling for a pharmaceutical company, and I was here on a mission to build a plant in 2000, but in 2002 I was living here on a work visa, and I met my now husband.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to move to Canada, so I moved to Texas, and I've been here ever since.
Lucky us.
Lucky me, too. I love it here.
Do you have any irrational fears?
I am a little claustrophobic, and I'll tell you a story. In Lebanon, way back when I used to be a kid, there would be a lot of outages.
And power outages?
Power outages, and we lived oftentimes in the dark during the Civil War, and I refused to take elevators. Because back then in Lebanon, the elevators didn't have a double door, so you could see Yeah, it's crazy. You could see the going up and down. You can kind of touch it.
There's no door.
There's no door, and so yeah, it's hindsight. It was kind of a weird flaw, design, engineering.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I could not take elevators.
Because of the door? Because you were worried about a power outage?
I got stuck a couple of times in the elevator for like 2-3 hours, and then at some point, then they open the doors and they have to yank you out.
Do you know Jackie Bali?
No.
Okay, because she's one of my woman crushes and she has a fear of elevators. She would not like this
Jackie.
story. Tell us something humorous about yourself.
I think I said it in your questionnaire. For the longest time, English is my third language. So in Lebanon, people my generation, they speak Arabic or Lebanese, which is a bit of a dialect, and we spoke French.
Because of Canada?
Because it's a French colony in Lebanon.
Oh,
and
okay.
of course, in Canada, you speak French. And so I only learned English starting from 6th grade. So I only took 4 years of English. So I come here, and a lot of the stuff that's in my mind is translated. So I'd pronounce, instead of Perrier, I'd say Perrier. And people are like, what does that mean, Christiane? And then, funny things like, I taught my kids to say, open the light and close the light. And you're like, my husband, it drives him crazy. Like, no, you say, turn off the light. And then, for almost 10 years, my kids would say, close the light.
So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
It took me a long time. Sometimes Lawrence would tell you, my husband, I don't listen too well, but you have to listen when you own your own business. And when I started the company, we had just a couple of products out, and I was visiting one of my spas, and I was doing a little inventory. And the owner, it's a very big spa, and they're very successful. They have a salon as well. So he's been in business for a really long time. And the owner came to talk to me, and he noticed I was a little bit down. And he said, what's wrong? I said, well, it's been a couple of months. Sales haven't been so great. I'm not sure. So I kind of was, sharing with him a bit of my grievances. And he kind of looked at me. He's like, but I noticed that your sales last month here were really good. I said, yes, so tell me, what's the secret? He said, look, Christiane, I've been in this business for 30 years. Being in business is not a sprint. It's like doing a marathon. It takes a really long time, and you have to be patient, and you have to keep at it. You have to keep pedaling. And I left that, and it is the best piece of advice.
That's good advice.
Because you have ups and downs, and you have days where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm giving up. But then inevitably something happens, and the rejection goes away, and then you're in an elation. And so really, because I'm in business and because I'm a small business owner, that is the best piece of advice anybody's ever given me.
That's great advice.
Yes.
And that advice you can apply to so many other things in your life besides just your business.
And my parents, my mom in particular, always pushed me. I come from a traditional background, in Lebanon, etc. And my mom always pushed me to get education. And it's unheard of. I was one of the first people in my family, and now there's a lot more of my cousins that went to college.
Well, especially being a female.
Yes. And chemical engineering, which
and
is
a chemical engineering major?
Yeah. I was raised with brothers. We go to school, there's less than 5% women. So I very much encourage women to go in science because it's been a blessing for me. I've had a tremendous career, and really it's fun to be an engineer because you get to innovate all the time.
That's amazing. So you probably don't have a lot of downtime because you have a husband, children, a business, but what are some of your favorite things to do during your downtime or your hobbies?
So my husband has been calling me the mad scientist lately. Because I've been developing a lip balm, and we work with the lab, so of course they develop all our skincare, but I do all the ingredients, so I'm the formulator. So more and more I'm getting ingredients in my house, and I've been obsessed with the lip balm, lip scrub, which are coming out pretty
soon. So you work during your downtime is what you're telling me.
No, well, maybe I should say that I love golf.
Oh, okay.
My downtime is a couple of things. I love hanging out with my kids, obviously, which is, I love to paint. You've been to my house, you see my paintings.
Yes, I love your paintings.
I used to sell professionally, but it's just too hard, and it's not something I want to pursue. I would prefer to pursue the skincare business. And I love to golf with my husband. We've been obsessed with golf for the longest time. And then recently I've been obsessing with the mad science thing in my house to the point where now Lawrence, my husband, is forcing me to separate things, and not take because you try to develop stuff and then you give it to the lab. So that's something I like to do too.
Yeah, you've got your own little lab set up in your house, so you can
Just
create
a tiny,
things.
tiny bit. I promise, Lawrence, it's a tiny small bit piece in my house. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Merci, Christiane.
Merci à toi.
This was a great interview.
Absolutely.
Mwah. That's a wrap.